Hey guys, it's Greg Jones for Engine Builder. Today we are outside of Houston in Cleveland, Texas to check out TRE Racing Engines. These guys build some awesome high horsepower, high performance stuff. So let's go on in and check it out. Come on. All right guys, so here we are inside TRE Racing Engines. I'm joined by owner Taylor Laster. Taylor, thanks so much for having us in. I know you and I have talked a little bit over the years.
Yes.
And it's my first time being here in person, so excited to see what all you guys got going on, because you guys build some badass stuff.
We try. We try. Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I know you guys have been in the business a long time, and you know it's a family affair for you to an extent. So tell the folks a little bit about your background and kind of ultimately what got you in this shop space.
My dad opened a speed shop in the 70s in Houston, and he grew that to be quite a few, multiple businesses off that. And then in 86, he decided he wanted to have a machine shop because they raced NHRA Comp Eliminator all, me growing up, going with them, and that's what their thing was, and it was really competitive. It's a really competitive class where it takes a lot of work. So he wanted to be better at it because buying stuff wasn't getting it done. Yeah. And so in '86 they started TRE behind one of our speed shops, and back then he had a really big mailer business. It was called USA Performance Centers. We shipped hundreds and hundreds of parts a day. Wow. So it was kind of inside of it, and and that's how it started. But we really just, from the get-go, they focused on building really high-end, you know, NHRA-based style motors. And so from the get-go, it was hardcore, you know, for whether it was dirt racing or boats, but it was all hardcore stuff, not just, you know, we never really were a rebuilder ever or anything like that. And I decided that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to work in the machine shop, not the sales counter on the retail stores. So, man, from the get-go, I actually took a class so I could go half days in high school and work at the machine shop every day, and that's what I did. I mean, starting at 15, I was putting motors together. We bought our first dyno in 1988. I went to Superflow dyno school and got certified, and you know that was what I did, a lot of dyno work, stuff like that. Everything in the shop I learned how to do from a kid. Right. And we still have one of the employees that started with my dad in '82. He's still here today. You know, so he knows everything we've done as far as TRE's done. And you know, we continually do high-end builds, and we do more, you know, street stuff than we ever have, and other kinds of aspects. But yeah, it's how we started. And my parents, they stuck more with the speed shop stuff, and I was always doing the machine shops, you know, thing. And I just really kind of took it over in the mid '90s, where it was more mine, and changed it here and there. And we've moved a couple times. We're out in the country now. We're outside of Houston. You know, just you don't have noise issues. You can, you know, we have truck and trailers always here of customers. So it's less of a
kind of just do what you want.
It is, because I mean the engine dynos really. I mean we've always, when we were inside town, we always had noise problems, and we couldn't dyno at night. If we got something done and we needed to get it shipped, we'd have to wait till the next day. I mean, out here in the country, they don't. My neighbors don't seem to mind. So and we're sitting on, you know, 20 acres. So. You know, we're away from people, so to speak. But and that's something I did. I mean, like I said, they started in the city, and I'm out here, obviously, in the country now. That was my doing. But I can get more done. I mean, living in the city, it was you had to go home or stay there, you know, hour drive or so to get there. So I get more done being out here. So when I moved it out here in 2009, where we're at now, when we first started, we had another building, quite a bit bigger. We had more equipment. We had a horrible fire in '16 that basically I just started over. I mean, everything. We had tools, equipment, everything since the 80s, and it really lost it all. And
Yeah.
in 16 just started with everything brand new again.
And
We're in this building.
Yeah, and you were explaining to me that that was a dyno.
Yeah, a flywheel
from the
flywheel
dyno,
came apart on the Superflow dynos. The fuel lines came out of the fuel pump, turned underneath the bell housing area of the dyno, and when the clutch assembly exploded, it cut those fuel lines that were right underneath it. And I was dynoing, so I was watching. It literally was like, it looked like in a movie. It was shooting out of the fuel pump, a fire stream at the walls. Wow. I mean, it was 20 foot long. It looked like a blowtorch. I mean, it didn't take long, man. It was really bad. It happened so fast. The fire trucks got here in 45 minutes, but there was basically nothing, not much saving. I mean, we have a concrete slab next door where it's at, and that's all we got. I mean, we lost everything. You know, like I said, all the equipment, tools, hundreds of motors, just all kinds of stuff that was in the shop.
Yeah.
And this shop we're in now it's just 5,000 square foot. And it was something I had for my own personal playing with cars at night, or having customers' cars in here to work on. And that's where we're at now. I need double the space. It's so cramped. But it is what it is, what we have.
Sure.
And we make do. I mean, we'd love to have more equipment and a bigger shop space, but we just kind of rub elbows and get it done right now. And one day maybe we'll have a bigger shop.
Absolutely. No, it's awesome that you guys were able to recover from something like that, because I'm sure many shops couldn't or wouldn't.
Yeah,
but here you are.
I got a lot of good people got behind us. Some manufacturers actually helped us with terms until we could get back on our feet. Yeah, we're very lucky. I think back, I couldn't go through it again, but we just, when we started back over, we were just kind of really trying to satisfy some of the stuff that we needed to do, because we're halfway through or whatever, there was stuff that was lost. Not really thinking about getting right back, we're huge again, building, a lot of engines again, but it just happened. We just, before we knew it, we're right back building a lot of engines again.
Yeah,
and
well, you guys have that deep history, and
well, when you don't know anything else, you just
right.
you just keep doing it. I guess you just this is all we know. And like I said, some of the guys work for me. We're doing it before I was doing it. So yeah, it's all we know.
Yeah,
we're all hot rodders.
So Taylor, you said this is 5,000 square feet. So let's check it out.
All right,
let's see around.
Okay. Yeah, this is kind of when you first walk in. I mean, you see, we get a lot of cylinder heads into CNC, or waiting to get CNC'd, or even upgrades. We do a lot of, engines we built 10 years ago, guys want to get the newer tricks to it. So we'll update them in our CNC machines and porting.
Yeah.
We do a lot of fabricating, induction related. So we have, you can see an area where we build a lot of sheet metal intake manifolds. It's dirty and we grind, but it's, runners getting made, plates for intake, billet runners, and we have mock-up engines, mock-up engines for about everything. Sometimes we have to bring an engine in to actually build our intake off of, but we have a lot of mock-up things available.
Yeah.
And you see the rest of the shop. We got, we try to keep a lot of parts. I mean, because parts became really bad with COVID.
Oh, sure.
A lot of the stuff we didn't stock as many of as we used to.
It's rare to see a pile of tanks like this.
It's actually kind of low. There was about double that not too long ago. I mean, with the prices of what they are, I mean, you'll have $80,000, $100,000 of the cranks just sitting there nowadays. And Cali's is one of the best ones that have bounced back and can get you parts. So we have a lot of inventory on the popular stuff. We keep like a lot of cranks. I mean, we got 15 sets of billet rods on the floor behind them. Right. We keep a lot of pistons, a lot of Jessel stuff. Just the more popular numbers, we try to keep all that in stock. This is just basic teardown area. Everything's waiting to get tore down, looked at.
This is stuff just still getting in process here.
Yeah, they bust them down right here. Like these two are halfway tore down, getting something fixed or repaired. You see lots of carts with customer stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually organized well. I mean, it's a machine shop. It's dirty, but each person's stuff's laid out. Yeah. These are all dynoed, different. A little bit of everything. You got really big and small block, kind of a basic small block, and then a big block. This is actually a 4.6 bore space. Okay. You don't see, there's only probably 12 of these engines built in the world.
Oh wow. Yeah.
4.6 Borsay small block. So it's ready to go home.
Yeah, I was admiring it earlier. It looks pretty cool for sure.
Man, it's CFE came up with that deal just to make an outlaw small block, and we built, I think, more than anybody. I think we probably built 8 of them. You can get. I wanted a new one. We can do over 600 cubic inches, but the biggest I think we've done is 560. Okay. Which is huge. Yeah. Monster small blocks.
Absolutely.
And we're doing another one. We have another. It's actual stock bore space small block. 4.4. We just completed 3 of them. They're 570 inches. Wow. I've got a new project. CN makes the block for me. We should have by November, December. They're going to be 600 inches of real stock Borsay small block, and I'll show you. Wow. The blocks on that. I know there's nobody that's done it. I mean, it took a lot of engineering to get the cranks and blocks made.
So give myself and the folks watching a little knowledge behind, like, people hear those types of cubic inches and they're like, that's not a small block. And so what do you come back to those people and tell them, like, the reasons that it is a small block?
Well, you could take that cylinder head off of that 570 cubic inch small block we built, or the 600 that's fixing to have, and you could take the cylinder head off and it will fall on, bolt down to a 350 Chevrolet from the 60s. Yeah. That's what dictates it, is that the bore space, the distance between the cylinders is stock. Yeah. On a small block Chevrolet, it's 4.4. So that's what we call a 4.4. Yeah. That's really what dictates it, that it is a small block, because the cylinder head is the cylinder heads and the block is based off of stock. Actually, the bolt pattern is a stock 350 Chevrolet on those motors we're talking about. Wow. The main bearings are the 400 small block Chevrolet. Everything's stock. Yeah. Of course, the cam drive and all that, and then it gets a little wild, but that's what those kind of classes dictate that you've got to measure valve to valve to valve, or head stud to head stud, and it's got to measure whatever GM made it, or where, if it's a Ford, it's going to be what Ford made it. Yep. And that's what that is. Okay. We just finished 2 of them also, the small block Fords, 570 cubic inches, based off of a stock small block Ford. So that you can do it in the Ford too. I don't know if we can do the 600. But we've already done 2 of the 570 Fords, and and these are all billet block, billet crank. Right. We offer caster billet head. That doesn't matter on the cubic inches. So,
it's its own thing, but it's got that bore space.
Yeah, because the classes dictate. If you don't have stock bore space, you can't fit, and that's what happened on these things. So this is 4.6. It's not stock, and the people that bought them couldn't fit into some classes, and that's why they kind of don't. That's why I said there's probably only 12 of them built, because they got themselves into a category that didn't fit. Yeah, gotcha. But like I said, it's when it came out, I mean, there was nothing of its kind. I want to say it came out about 8 or 10 years ago. It's just really underneath the radar. Yeah. But it's like I said, you don't see them very. You won't see a whole lot of these things. And like I said, we got this one's in for a freshen up. We'll go through the basics and then go on the engine dyno and try to find more power for the guys.
Nice. Well, and speaking of big cubic inch small blocks, that's going to take a lot of machining to get there, right?
Yes, yes.
You guys got a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, this is a machinery alley here. Yeah. We've got this is a big block Chevrolet head that just started machining. It's got the chambers roughed. It's actually going in right now for the porting. Of course, one of these will run 8-10 hours, and then it's ready for valve job. Yeah. Doing the guides, but we do a ton of heads. I mean, this thing literally runs 7 days a week. I'll stick a head in at 6-7 o'clock when I leave, and it runs all night. We come in the next morning and typically put another head in. Yeah. We'd love to do blocks in it, but honestly, I just don't have time to get through the heads to get to blocks. I have all the we have all the hardware. We can do lifter bore and decking and boring and O-ring in the CNC, but it's just really need another machine to keep up with what we got going. And I mean, I'm really into cylinder heads, more airflow, trying to find more power. So I kind of, blocks aren't interesting. You don't, you can't R&D on the flow bench. I mean, of course you R&D, but it's just not the same as heads. Right, absolutely. So heads is that, black magic of our industry.
Yep. Definitely makes a little bit bigger difference.
And it's something flashy and cool. You show a finished cylinder head, it can be badass looking. You show a finished block, and it's like looks like going in anybody's shop. So.
And Taylor, you were telling me that you've been a pretty big fan, supporter of Centroid. This is
Yeah.
actually your fourth one.
Yes, this is. Yeah, this is
a machine like this.
Yeah, this is their biggest one. It's called that 560 XL,
Yeah.
where you can do blocks and heads in the same machine. We started with a 520, I think they called it, where you could only do a head, and it was a lot tinier. It wasn't as rigid. It just, we wore it out in a matter of 3 years. They've changed a lot. They didn't have this machine when I started with them, and I think it was 06. I think 2006 we started with them. So,
yeah,
man, they've changed a lot, and then they help us a lot.
Yeah.
We really don't have a lot of downtime, knock on wood. They've been a good company to us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
we've grown with them, I guess you would say. And
Yeah.
and a lot of other engine builders have Centroids and call me about what do I think, or yada yada. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of people looking at them, so it's good.
Nice.
And then here's a diamond hone. We switched to diamonds, I think about 2000, 2002. This is about the fourth diamond machine I've had. I mean, it just makes life so much easier. This is the biggest Sunnin machine. This is actually an industrial machine. You don't find them very often.
Wow.
I've had quite a few people try to buy it from me. It has a 3-horse motor, and it runs an 8 diamond. Like the newer machines are like 1 or 2 horse, and they run a 6 diamond. So you can get a lot more done.
Yeah.
You can actually put 2 blocks in this one. But
cool.
it's a Sunnin diamond. I like Sunnin stuff. I started on Sunnin. They have good product help and support. So that's what we have, a lot of Sunnin stuff, and that's all I've really run, honestly. So
Yeah. You're familiar with it.
yeah, we like it. So a Sunnin surfacer. Just mainly for heads, for aluminum cutting. It's a big, rigid machine, and it does a really nice job.
Yeah.
This is the dinosaur. This is something everybody had in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
We keep it. You get a really hard block, and it works well for that. It's just a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Nothing special to show you there. And we have these new blocks lined up. As you see, there's usually more sitting here waiting to get honed.
Yeah.
But one of the guys does, on a Brodex, you have to do the mains. We do lifters, do O-ring boring. This is a Sunnin, mainly for mains, but we do cam tunnel work a lot.
Yeah.
And the fixture's not in there now, but we do a lot of enlarging of cam tunnels. I can't tell you how many we do a year. Not very many shops will do it. A lot of shops, like there's actually multiple engines here or blocks here to get the cam tunnels enlarged, and we just do a ton of that. I mean, we could literally do it year round if I wanted to.
Yeah.
What
are kind of some typical cam tunnel sizes?
55 millimeters, something we're just doing every
Sometimes
day.
you get a 60. But,
Yeah, we do. We do 60. I have a lot. One engine we build a lot of, we're 60 millimeter, and then we're actually doing some 65 millimeter cam tunneling for some big block stuff. It's either here or fixing to be here.
Yeah.
So that's a part of this industry, is that when engines come in, we're constantly upgrading to bigger cam diameters. And it's a lot of work, a setup and time. It's an expensive process, but like I said, there's not a lot of people that can do it.
Yeah.
So we do it. We just have to. I mean, we just don't have a choice to send it to somebody. We have to do it ourselves. So, and then we just have a Rottler boring bar for boring cylinders, doing O-ringing. We actually install a lot of aluminum sleeves nowadays. That's something you didn't do back in the day, but we are constantly. You see, like this brand new Brodex, it has no sleeves.
Yeah.
And we'll machine it for sleeves. It's a lengthy process, and you got all your LS stuff.
Yeah.
We machine them for sleeves.
Yeah.
That's something you just didn't do back in the day, but nowadays it's a really big deal. This is a ton of titanium valves. Nowadays we're about 100% victory.
Okay.
There's actually probably $40,000-$50,000 of valves sitting there now. I mean, valves have gone way up. So.
Yeah.
And then our valve cover line, we get those made, CNC'd, anodized. We have valve covers in stock for about every possible engine we would do. Oil pans, we get a ton of oil pans made up.
Yeah.
And we have our own spec on all those. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff.
You guys do more wet sump than dry sump?
No, it's about 50-50.
Okay.
Well, I mean, probably a little bit more wet sump.
Yeah, but it's pretty close.
But yeah, we do. I mean, we do a lot of dry sump on certain applications. Bigger engines, I recommend it. I really don't want to build a 7 or 8 or 900 inch motor wet sump.
Yeah.
We would really push somebody to be dry sump.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in different applications, different classes, they won't allow you to run it. So that's where we run into that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next part of the things is porting. I mean, which is not pretty, but it's a grinder room. This is a brand brand new sheet metal intake in the process of being ported, deburred, which when you see it on an engine in a week or whatever, it'll be shiny, beautiful after we get done. But this is in the process of, we scribe them, port them to fit the heads exactly, and then a lot of polish work. Like I said, it looks nasty and dirty right now but when it gets to the customer or on the engine, it's really shiny and pretty and all that good stuff.
Well, like you said, when you're doing the port matching, that makes a huge difference. So.
Yeah, it has to be. This type of engine, I mean, it has to fit like it doesn't know there's an intake. It just needs to be one continuous intake track.
Yeah.
And that's how you make the most horsepower, most airflow.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a...
You mentioned all the metal shavings and that it'll be nice and cleaned up,
Yes.
Obviously, what's the process for doing that? Is that something you guys just blow off, or?
No, so we get really good washing. It goes in an ultrasonic cleaner, which strips it. And then we have a polishing process, which is like a 2500 grit, at their, I can't think, wool, like even wools, I guess they're called, and it runs over the whole thing. Okay. And then a wash, and it makes it really shiny. Like it's like, you put Cascade or anything like that, like a oven cleaner, and it'll really shine. Yeah. People ask us like how we polish them all the time. It's not really polish, but it's a process we learned years ago. We've been building these manifolds since the 80s. Built a lot of intakes, so that's just something you learn.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. We go up over here, and these are brand new blocks that have come in recently, waiting to get machined. Everything right here is brand new. Yeah. You can see a lot of the energy billet blocks. That's a big seller for us, and they've been a really good company to work with. I mean, there's a lot of them right here waiting to get built. And this is a CN block. This is a block for like a 959 or a 975 cubic inch. We're actually working on a new 990 cubic inch. Wow. That's the biggest thing you can build. That's it. 5.3 bore space. And so this is the block here for one of those 570 cubic inch small blocks, which it doesn't look like a small block. It's a 11.2 deck height small block. Yeah. Wow. So that's one of those CN blocks for the 570 cubic inch. Yeah. They're you wouldn't think it's a small block, but that's what that is.
Yeah. So you said CN and energy are kind of your two.
Really the go-to on the billet big block. The standard bore space big block we do probably the most with energy because they're just quicker. Okay. And then specialty projects, they're not really into that yet. I think he's just trying to catch up with what's going on with the standard stuff. The small block Chevrolet, we buy Dart and CN billets. Okay. Because they're the only two companies that make the Chevrolet small block yet. I know Energy doesn't. Gotcha. And then the 5.3 bore space, same thing, Dart and CN. Yeah. They're the only two I know that really make the 5.3 bore space. Okay. And then just a lot of Dart iron stuff for other projects that's going to be coming in. I mean, they're going down through the process. Yeah. And then just, of course, mills for doing general stuff. You can never have enough mills. Yeah. Man, usually right now there's not, but usually every mill's full of somebody making something or modifying something.
You got your 360 lift there.
Yeah, that'll pick up any block crank combo. Yeah. These are all heads that are brand. These are our heads. So this is a raw head we buy from Profiler. I mean, you can see it's not got guide holes. Yeah. Spark plugs. Yeah. Anything really done. No rocker system. And we take that head from nothing and making it as something that we want that really nobody else has. We have our own valve train for it, our own valve angles. There's nothing that matches it. Yeah. I have to buy a lot of them at one time to get them to make them raw for me. Yeah. But it's a great head to do for the small block Chevrolet. That's what we use on like the 570. We do a 500 inch small block also. It's very popular. Yeah. That's what we use for that. And then the big block, this is what we put on the 800 cubic inch big block stuff. That's a stock bore space. That's a Brodex head. Okay. But it's really raw, as you can see. Yeah. And we do all of our in-house machining on it. And that's a big seller for us. The last 3 years, the really big inch stock bore space big block has just gone crazy. We got a 632 combo that's held some records in drag rail racing. And then we did a 750 inch. It held some records. And then a lot of grudge racing. I mean, we do honestly a ton of these go in grudge cars. They don't want you to know how fast they are. They don't want you to know what cubic inch they are. Yeah, yeah. But pretty secret. We do a ton of them. Yeah, I mean, we can't even say the names on. They just don't want you to even tell somebody their motor's here because they don't want anybody knowing what they have.
Yeah,
so they can get a
it's
race.
all part of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they race for, I get guys all the time that tell me race for 20 grand or 30 grand or 50 grand a weekend.
Wow.
We're like the NHRA customer I have, their payout's 1,500 and they're there for 5 days. So I mean, it's just a totally different kind of racing, but we do them both. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here for an NHRA top sportsman or top dragster, but there's a lot of stuff in here for grudge guys. They're going to go race for very big money.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
it just depends. We do it all.
Yeah.
But like I'll show you some of the motors going together. This is just a, well, not a basic LS. It's a 9450 tall deck. It says 480 cubic inches.
Okay.
Something we've been working on to get everything to fit. How to get the cranks done by Cali's a little different. Just customers want something bigger, so we figured out a way we can build something bigger without having to go to a billet block. I do a billet block 500-inch LS also. It's just getting rolling. We've done a few, but this is something that more affordable because it's an iron block.
Yeah.
Which those are like a fifth the price of billet.
Yeah, sure.
Right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's
the assembly room here.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Everything here is going together. Nothing coming apart. We have you can see one of everything today. I mean, this is a 5-inch bore space. These things are anywhere from 750 to 800 cubic inches. Mm-hmm. The 5-inch bore space deal's been around a long time. They just kind of keep selling. Nothing really, has changed a whole lot in the 5-inch world. Yeah. We do a billet block version now, though. We just did the first ones. We're going to go up to 850, so it's really big. Yeah. It's a really tall deck height 5-inch. Yeah. And we do a billet head for them now, too. Yeah. These are the 4840 ones we're talking about. This is an energy block 4840. There's 760 cubic inches. And this is a billet block 4840. Yeah. And this is 760 inches. This is a CN block. Okay. Basically the same motor. Yeah. It's just you got to buy from multiple companies to keep up with the demand.
Yeah. Yeah. No, these are both gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. This one's just waiting on the intake. Yeah. And it'll be ready to go on the dyno. Yeah. This one heads are being done, and it'll be in the same situation in a week.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get into some more details with an engine of the week here.
Yeah. So, yeah. Cool. That's what these are. In a little bit further process than you saw what they start as a raw billet, but and of course a raw head. Yeah, very cool. And then this is one of the heads are going on one of those, the same one like we've seen in the machine, but this is way further along. When the one the machine had just started roughing, right? This thing here is
you got the seats in. And all that.
It's basically got a valve job. It's ready to bolt on. Yeah. So this is the 4840, which means stock bore space big block. Mm-hmm. This is that head that we do an absolute ton of, and we really can't keep up with them. Like one you're seeing there on that engine, or going on a lot of these engines. This is another one of those 760 big blocks. Mm-hmm. This is the energy. No, this is the CN block version. The same thing, waiting on intake, and it's a shipper. Yeah. This actually goes in a jet boat, all aluminum 632. We do still the jet boat deal in Texas is big. Yeah. So there's still a lot of guys that do these. It's just waiting, get the manifold done, get the nitrous plumbing.
So Taylor, how many engines would you guys say you get through in a year? And
between freshens and new, I mean, you try to do 2 a week, so at least 100. Yeah. But I mean, some weeks you got to do more. People just in a hurry trying to make a race. So I'd see you get up to 150 a lot of times.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah,
that's a lot of work.
It's more than 8 hours a day. That's for sure. Yeah. More than 5 days a week. Yeah. A lot of weekends, a lot of nights here. Yeah. It's every night, night. But that's just how it is.
Very good. And how many full-time guys are helping you do all that? Yeah.
Well, there's 5 of us here every day. Okay. Probably need 7, but 5 is what it is for now. Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's what it takes to get this stuff pumped out. There's a lot of hours in what you're looking at. You can't just buy this stuff from somebody and bolt it together. All this stuff has a lot of machine work. Yeah. That just man hours is extremely high. Yeah.
So now, Taylor, let us know if we're missing anything, but I know you got a little area where some of the complete cars can be in the bay there. And then you have the dyno space next door.
Yeah, and then we have a wash area. There's hot wash tank, then the ultrasonic, just clean up, get the general stuff clean. That's a whole nother building. I mean, it's not exciting, but that's, cleaning is a big part of all this. It's all got to be really clean, or you're not gonna be able to get an engine. You're gonna have problems.
Yeah.
So that's another part of it out there.
Very good.
Yeah, and then we have an engine dyno room, which there's nothing running today, but
is it worth checking out, showing the folks what that looks like?
Sure, we can. Right. No problem. Yeah, and then we have a hub dyno that we're out there hooking up the last little bit of wiring. I mean, it should be up and running this week. That's the plan.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, we can learn a lot more. I mean, for nitrous or boosted stuff, you can learn that way. I mean, you can't just put it on an engine dyno and do that stuff.
Right.
So yeah, that's you're going to learn a whole nother realm of tuning and horsepower.
Yep.
So then just balancing really is left over. Obviously everything gets balanced, do it all in house.
Yeah.
A lot of heavy metal on these big motors. People don't understand how many hours are in cranks. We spend 2 days on a lot of jobs with those big motors, all the heavy metal.
Right.
Yeah, you can just see this one right here, for example. It came off the dyno.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
five pieces of Mallory. Yeah.
5 in the front.
Yeah.
8. So that's 16 pieces in that one crank.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to spend a minimum of an hour drilling the hole, reaming the hole to size,
yeah.
pressing it in. And that's what people don't understand is, like, that Mallory right now is costing $80 to $100 per piece.
Wow.
Inflation's just drove the Mallory out of the... So,
wow.
I mean, we're talking $2,000 worth of Mallory metal in a balance job, aside from the labor.
Right.
And just, you tell somebody a balance job is $2,500, $3,000, they look at you like, you lost your mind. But that's the world you live in right now, honestly.
Yeah.
And
it's cheaper than if you didn't balance it, and then you got all these issues.
Well, all your parts fall apart with vibration. Yeah. But balancing's become a lot more labor intensive than it was, say, back in the day, whenever you just had stock cranks and you're just stock parts. You just make sure it's balanced and you put it together. Yeah. Nowadays these guys get started on a balance job, and like I said, on a Monday, and they may not be done with it till Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday. So balancing's become an art.
Yeah.
With all the tooling and sourcing the materials to do what we need to do. I mean, it's really changed the game, where it's a big part of this deal.
Yeah. And what makes a balance job, one that's fairly simple and straightforward versus one that, could take 16 pieces of Mallory?
It's really the stroke, the crank. Like I said, a stock engine, stock 350 or stock LS, the stroke's short, so it doesn't take a lot of weight to counteract that stroke being way out here. You get off center with the weight of the stroke, you got to counteract it over here with counterweight. Yeah. Well, a stock stroke so compact, it doesn't ever get out of balance, so to speak. Okay. But you start putting that stroke way out there, well, there's got to be something on the other side of it, and there's just never enough crankshaft to counteract that stroke. So you got to stick some metal to counteract all that stroke you're sticking in it. Right. Yeah, and it's all these big strokes. I mean, the strokes just get bigger and bigger. We just finished 2 motors with 6 250 strokes in them. I mean, I never thought you'd ever see a stroke that big. It's just, and we just did 2 of them, and we got more to do after that. Wow, it's crazy. Strokes in these motors is out of control. Yeah. Very good. But yeah, we can walk out to the dyno room. Okay. Like I said, usually we're dynoing every day. This is a rare day we're not dynoing, and we have, like Hall EFI, and we're actually starting on Fuel Tech EFI on the dyno. So we tune a lot of EFI stuff right here in house. Yeah. Not just carburetors. Right. Which usually we have a lot of carburetors going. I build a lot of carburetors. We have since the 80s. It's kind of our thing. One of those other things we don't have to outsource. The guy orders a carburetor today, and we usually ship it tomorrow. Or for a new engine, we need carburetors. We have everything in stock, all the bodies, all the billet, everything's billet. And we can finish a carburetor today or tomorrow and be done tomorrow. So we do a lot of that. Also on the engine dyno is R&D on carburetor stuff. Yeah. Back when I ran pro stock and like those complimentary classes, it's so dependent on finding 2 or 3 or 4 horsepower. We had to learn how to build those and modify them because you can't rely on somebody to always get you there. So carburetor is a big part of our business, honestly, too. Yeah, so you're doing a lot of carbureted stuff. You're doing a lot of nitrous stuff. Yeah, we do a lot of that. But the turbo stuff is definitely underneath. Well, I mean, we've always done boosted things, and there's a lot of boosted engines going in here, but it's just not as big as what it used to be for us. because we have a backlog of nitrous stuff.
Yep.
If I could catch up on the nitrous engines, I would I'd take in more boosted jobs. But honestly, just the people, the size of the shop, I just can't really take in a lot more work than we have. So I do some boosted stuff. It's usually some higher end billet, really nice stuff. I mean, I just don't have the room to take in street. You know, like guys, I get a ton of calls. Hey, I got an LS and I want to put a rotating assembly in and a cam. You know, I just don't have the room to take it in right now because I don't want to tell a guy it's going to be 8 months to do that. So that's unfortunately where we're at because just the new engine takes so many man hours. That's the problem. Absolutely. I mean, it's nice to do some quick jobs for people, but it's just hard for us right now. So we'll see.
Very good. Well, yeah, let's check out that dyno space.
No problem. Let's do it. Yeah, and as you said, we have some cars in here, and there's always a different pair of cars in here. Today, I'm actually just checking out my car. We had a little 28 shootout 2 weeks ago, but we're actually really gearing up for Duck's race in Georgia. You know, his big race in February, then October is big for us. I mean, I've had 15 customers there at one time in all the different classes. So we're actually really gearing up for that because I think it's 2 or 3 weeks we're going to leave. But like I said, usually there's customer stuff in here. What we'll actually do is people order a new engine and they want it installed. They want headers. We have a full-time fabricator. He builds headers pretty much. We have another shop down the end of the property. There's probably 5 cars in there right now getting done. I mean, he does it all. He does all the chassis. He'll do a cage. He does, you know, cool. We do every bit of it. But like that's what like this car. We have a brand new LS we're building for it. We've already built stainless headers. He did a lot of the cage work. We'll actually we'll install, which it's a mess right now, but we'll install a brand new Holley system. We stock easily 5 or 10 systems. That car will leave here and go straight to the racetrack. It doesn't look like it right now, but
No, that's very cool. You guys kind of do the
we'll turnkey it. I mean, I have a guy that does wiring. I have a guy that does all the fabrications, and like usually there's 2 of them in here. Getting the finish work. Like I said, after they get done at the chassis shop on the other end of the property, they'll come down here for the, the cleaner work, the wiring, the making hoses. We have all the hose machines for crimping, and so we do everything. Turnkey.
That's neat.
And there's always one leaving or coming and going. Like I said, there's probably 3 cars out in trailers waiting to get motors installed. Just whatever. We can do something small. We do something huge. To turnkey them so they can go straight to the racetrack. We do that a lot. Cool. But it's just it's just a little small part of it. But people love going straight to the track versus having to find somebody to install the motor. Wire up their stuff. I mean, it's a big difference.
All right, so Taylor, now we're in the dyno room here, which, as we were talking earlier, you made it a separate space away from the shop, and built it out of a shipping container.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, like I said, I'd heard of people doing this, and I actually saw a shop that had this idea, and I was like, that's crazy, and I knew the guy, and he contacted me after my fire and said, hey, why don't you do what I did? And I'm no, I dismissed it. I thought it was goofy. But we had to get the shop up and running, for the basics, and we did. It took a few months, and we got up on our feet with the engine building, and I'm like, what am I going to do for a dyno? We were kind of renting out another dyno when we needed it, which was hectic, driving back and forth 45 minutes each way. And couldn't do the R&D we wanted to do because you're another man's shop. So I was sitting there looking at pictures of this other guy's one night, and I'm like, well, that actually doesn't look bad. Because I was thinking I was going to be like trying to dyno in my closet. It was gonna be like, so cramped, and I was like, and it would be away from the shop. It would be sealed. If anything stupid happened, you can just shut the doors. I mean, it's all metal. It can't, catch fire like our other building did. So I looked further into it and talked to people about it, like the 2 guys I knew that had them, and like, wow, okay, it kind of fits better than I thought. And so I actually bought a container. And I said, well, we'll try it. If we don't like it, we can just use it for storage, And so that's what we did. I got one of our chassis shop fabricators. He helped me. We did doors and walls, and we ended up putting aluminum floor in it. And I bought the latest, greatest dyno from Superflow, which really can't have the problem we had before with the the standard shift flywheel on it like we had on the original Superflow that we had a problem with. These dynos are a lot different the way they work.
Yeah.
And here we are, man. Now we're down to probably 200 motors. Last time I looked, like I said, it usually runs 4 or 5 days a week. I wish it was running today. I don't have anything on there today, but yeah, it works great.
No, it's great. Yeah, no, like you said, you think about a shipping container, and you think, well, that's not that big of a space, but here we are, and I'm trying to picture most engine dynos aren't any bigger. So
no, my old, I had 2 in the old shop. I had one we built the cell on, which is one we were in, and then I'd actually bought this cell at PRI show. It's all stainless dyno cell because we had 2 dynos, and it's really not any bigger than this. And I spent it was a lot of money for that stainless dyno cell, which I wish I was down on that the day that everything happened, because it probably wouldn't have had, it would have stayed inside that cell. I was using the dyno that was in the wooden room, we had built when we started. So side note, but because that cell that is produced as a dyno cell would have probably solved 99% of our problems that happen. But then this is the same way. It's off site from the engine shop. It's 40 feet away. It's all metal. With fire suppression system, whatever this is it's a better way of doing it. Because we do some pretty wild stuff in here, and something can't happen.
Yes, you got like your control area there, and then
the
you can bring in engines from the side here.
Yeah, I'll just come in off of a roll-up way here. Of course, all steel door. It's a fireproof door. And then, like I said, the engine, when we run with conventional style headers, I mean, you got all the room we had in our other dynos to do, run your valves, try stuff. It actually works really good. A lot of air, we have a real good air movement system in here to keep the engine fresh. We pump in air conditioned air into the carburetor so that we try to run 70 degrees year round, because in Texas it'll be 100, or if we give them freezing cold 30 degrees around here. So we try to run 70 degree air year round and dehumidified. So we got everything we need. And honestly, with the 3 tons of air conditioning I got, we can keep this thing 70 degrees in the summertime, which every dyno room I've had in the past, if it's 100 outside and the engine's running, it's blazing hot in the dyno room, you don't want to be in there. But this thing actually will stay really nice because it's not too big. It was actually a plus. I mean, we actually like it better than the old one because we can not melt. So it has its pluses.
And Taylor, what kind of horsepower level can you put on this?
I bought the biggest one Superflow offered in 16. I believe the brakes rated at 2,500. But the most we've ever had on there is like our 959 combo. It makes 1750-ish. So, I don't think we're pushing it to the limit at all. And it seems to just laugh at whatever you put on. I've never really had a problem with it seeming like it's blowing through it, they call it, when you're putting a lot of power to them. Like I said, I went to school at Superflow in '88 when they were in Colorado Springs to learn it all and go through it. It's a really cool place back then. And it's changed a lot. But I feel like I can work on about all of them. I've done all my own maintenance since then, and run a lot of them. We've probably had 8 or 10 dynos. Different styles since '88. So it's something cool. I always want a dyno. It's you wake up, want to come out here and try something, or like I said, now we have EFI, which is a whole other aspect, and that's sky's the limit. I can't quit thinking about stuff we want to try on EFI. So the dyno's a big part of the
absolutely.
I'm out here honestly 9, 10 o'clock at night whenever the phones quit ringing and the guys don't need me, and everything dies down. I'll go eat and I'll think about it, and I'll come back, and I usually honestly will dyno 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. We don't get too many neighbors hating on us, but it's a big part of the deal. It really is.
Very good. All right, so Taylor, we just walked maybe 100 feet from where the engine dyno room is, back here to more of where the original shop used to be, and this is one of the spaces that survived, is what you were telling us, and you guys used to have a wheel chassis dyno in here, but now you're setting up with the hub dyno and pretty close to having it complete.
Yes, sir. This is something that's been a year in the making. I think I ordered these last summer. And you're right. We had a standard wheel dyno that you could do 1,000 horsepower flywheel, and after that tires spin. We never could really learn what we wanted to learn because some of these motors we build make 2,000, 2,500. Sure. We just couldn't do that with it. I mean, it just got to be a tool that was good for street cars, but we do.
It had a limit.
Yeah, we maxed it out. So they actually, Dynocom really hooked us up with. They let me trade in my wheel dyno, which helped me a lot, and because these are very expensive, and I got into these, and we just picked them up. The guys are doing all the wiring, cabling, and I really hope, I want to run a car on here by this weekend and start, it's a next step, because like the engine dyno, like I said, you can't turn on nitrous in the amounts we use, or you can't really, boost or blower the amount of horsepower that can be made. It's just too much for it. It's too hard to harness. But these, we're supposed to, I think these are rated 5,500. I mean, we don't have anything that makes that kind of power. So,
right.
Like I said, we put together a ton of race cars that go straight to the racetrack for customers with the fuel system and the headers and whatever fab work they need. Well, we can put them on here, run it, lean on it, try stuff that we've never been able to try, and send somebody to the racetrack maybe with more power than they had before, and everything's been checked out. So that's the whole idea. I mean, like I said, this was the only building I had left over from my original. We did a facelift, some new panels, but I guess this is the OG room. So to speak.
Very cool. Getting some new life, and like you said, you'll be able to, do actual simulated passes and have guys ready to roll. Yeah,
we can give manufacturers feedback that we just can't now. I mean, being able to try stuff real world, simulate a pass, try things that make more horsepower, or may not make more horsepower that we never could in the past if you just guess or. Hey, tell me how it does or whatever. I mean, within hours, I can tell you, hey, this made more power. And I mean, our plan is to run an engine on here, do what we're gonna do, rip the heads off, put another style head on, put another style camshaft in it, and with real world boost or nitrous and tell you what it does that day, which we just don't have the ability to do right now. It's the next phase of this learning process.
No, that's awesome, and I'm sure you're excited to get it going.
Yes, sir. No, I mean, like I said, you want to see the fruits of your labor. Horsepower numbers are kind of the main way you do that. So that's where I'm at.
Very good. All right, guys. Well, that concludes this tour of TRE Racing Engines. Again, Taylor, really want to thank you for letting us come through the shop, and your team for letting us break up the day a little bit. Really, really cool to see what you guys got going on.
Thanks.
You guys build some awesome quality, high horsepower stuff, and
thanks
cool
a lot
to see it in person.
Thanks a lot.
Guys, we appreciate you watching this shop tour. Make sure you're checking out everything that Taylor's got going on here at TRE. They do an awesome job on Facebook and Instagram, so check them out there. And as always, make sure you're checking out enginebuildermag.com for more engine content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.